Live from the Westgate Superbook, John Murray is already in a bad mood. This is not our 100th episode. In fact, it's our 101st episode. Apparently, we missed the 100th episode, which would have just been great. We had 2 games land 1 last week. Thank you very much. UTEP had a real opportunity to land 1. Don't even get me started, Dana Demmel. I was very pissed off at his play calling. Very, very, very Dana Demmel-like. I should have known better.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what you thought of week 1, but let's just go right into it. You want to just complain about your results? I mean,
very happy.
UTEP, I guess.
Very happy that Navy missed a field goal and then elected to kick a field goal. Very happy with that. Cashed an under ticket. Yes. That's all I got. I already did my complaining.
No.
That was it. 2 games.
What else did you bet on?
That was it.
Shut up.
I swear.
Shut up.
I have a college.
You only bet 2 games.
John Murray, we have been over this a million times. There is a thing called discipline, and I had to learn it the hard way. I showed immense amount of discipline.
There is a thing called discipline, but you don't have any. So you only bet 2 college football games. There were like 7 games.
Yeah. I had to cheer for New Mexico State because I drafted them in my college football pool. Did not work out well to my advantage. 7-point favorite, loses outright to a team called UMass. So that was painful. So that was really enough action for me.
Yeah, that seems like a lot of action for 7 games. We did well. The book did really well on Saturday. We did well.
I thought you needed Navy.
We did well in Ohio. So some late money came in on Ohio against San Diego State. The Ohio quarterback got hurt during the game, knocked out of the game. San Diego State won 20-13. We did very well in that game. We did okay, I should say. It was a good day. The handle was higher than I thought it was going to be because it was week 0 and the games were so bad.
They were so bad. I watched like 1/3 of them, and I sat in a giant sports book all day. Not bothering you. You're welcome.
Did you get a laugh when Navy kicked the first field goal or the second field goal or both?
Oh, I enjoyed both because they missed the first one. I was like, yes. And then when they elected to kick the other one instead of punching it in, boy, I thought I was going to win by the hook.
You think they would have punched it in?
I thought they would at least have tried to punch it in. I mean, like, wouldn't you have at least tried to punch it in? I guess you take the field goal so it doesn't look like you got zeroed in Ireland.
Well, I also would have attempted a forward pass prior to the 4th quarter if I was the coach, but I'm not. So I think the rumors was, or the word on the street, I should say, was that Navy was going to try to throw the football. They ran a little bit more up-tempo on their first drive, and then they abandoned that after 1 drive. It didn't matter. They couldn't stop Notre Dame from scoring. Notre Dame basically could have named the score in that game. And it's going to be interesting to see how good they are now because they've got what I would call a more than competent quarterback in Sam Hartman.
I would agree with that.
They did not have that last year.
You know what I have to wonder is how many people are going to be rushing to the Superbook this weekend to bet Notre Dame to win the national championship. I think there was a massive overreaction, at least with the people I was sitting next to. And of course, Mr. Stewart, my dad, called and had to tell me how great Notre Dame looked. And I said, let's not overreact just yet.
You don't want to overreact too much. So we talked about week 0. Let's recap our show from week 0. How did you feel about your performance on that show? What did you think?
I got a lot of really good feedback. I asked for negative feedback, like you always do. I just said, hey, tell me what you loved. Tell me what you hated. And I didn't get anything back that anybody hated because people are too nice. But I'm sure that there is going to be some comments week by week. I think that Superbook would prefer us to do this show in person, but I would rather, I won't say what I'd rather do than come back to Las Vegas every single week of my life.
Well, you're not a big fan of Las Vegas, right?
I think I just got burnt out. I mean, I had a hurricane happen this week, and I'd rather be here than in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, you call that a hurricane? What we had here? You know.
No, here we had a hurricane here.
Oh, Florida. Well, they called that we had a hurricane in Las Vegas.
I didn't even see it rain. People were playing golf. I mean, I think probably parts of the city that are very low lying, and then obviously some of the mountain areas did not fare too well. But yes, they also called that a hurricane.
So, what would you grade your performance on a scale of 1 to 10?
6.5. I don't get too excited.
Yeah, that seems pretty good. 6.5 is fair. I mean, I had one complaint. I thought the show was too long.
It was too long. And now, just this is making it even longer.
I know, but
we're supposed to be 30 minutes.
Your generation has a really short attention span. So this week we're going to tighten it up. We're going to go straight to the games, and we're going to start with my favorite coach, Jim Harbaugh. He's not on the sidelines this week, but it's his team, Michigan. They're hosting East Carolina. Do you have any thoughts on that game you want to share with me, or do you want to talk about Jim Harbaugh?
Not a single one. I've got my long list here of games. This is it. There are two favorites on this list of about 17 dogs. I have narrowed down my parlay. I've already sent it in to you in the Superbook team.
Yeah.
So you guys can get it up on the app. Should pay almost 35 to 1, maybe 36 to 1. As I said, you better not boost it. I do not need your jinx.
Okay, well, I won't do that. I won't jinx it
Thank
for
you.
I'm going to run through a few games we saw some money on. We saw sharp money on Fresno State against Purdue. Purdue's a little bit banged up. Now that line's come all the way down from 6.5 to 3.5. Sharp money on North Carolina. They laid 2. We went to 2.5. They're at South Carolina. That game is Saturday night. Is that the marquee game this weekend?
Yeah.
Or Saturday, I mean. I know the marquee game is Sunday, but is that the big game Saturday, the two Carolinas?
I guess.
Why are you doing that? What's this?
I guess. I'm putting in quotes. I mean, a lot of hype around Spencer Rattler. I know a lot of people like Shane Beamer. North Carolina. I think, look, the line went from 60, the total went from 60 to like 65 since the opener. Looks like it's going to be a shootout. Maybe it's going to be really exciting.
Possible shootout. The next game here, Boise State at Washington. Washington's a 14-point favorite. We're not seeing too much on the side in that game. I think the public is going to back Boise State.
I do
think
too.
it's an eye-opening point spread. That's an eye-opening point spread for Boise to be getting 2 touchdowns. Look for the public to bet Boise and Boise money line.
I want to jump in there. So I like Washington. That is one of the favorites that I have circled to look at. A lot of the market is 14.5. So that's kind of where I'm at. There is some elusive 14s out there. Since the public is backing Boise State, and we know the public doesn't move the market, the 14s are not happening, right? Like, we're not going to see a 14.
Well, you never know. I mean, you never know what groups might come in on that game. So you don't want to say never. You can't say that for sure. What's your other favorite you like? Because I want to talk about this next game. I want to talk about a favorite, and I got a bone to pick with a friend of yours, and I want to get into a whole thing. But what's your other favorite before I proceed?
The only other favorite I'm looking at is Minnesota, and I love the Gophers. Everybody knows that PJ Fleck and company are great. The caveat is they're great for me as underdogs. I don't know if I'm willing to lay a touchdown with them. That's why I got to look into that one a little bit deeper.
Okay, that's fair. What do you think of Nebraska this year?
Well, Matt Rule. Let's see what we can find out about him. Great coach at Baylor. Took over, obviously, after some allegations were had down in Waco. I thought he did a really solid job. And then he goes to Carolina, and he falls flat on his face in the NFL. Listen, there's been some issues in Nebraska basically since Tom Osborne left. And I'm not sure what that is, including their tight end breaking into a vape shop. There's some interesting videos all over the internet regarding him. Is that going to be a distraction? Possibly. I think it's going to take some time in Lincoln. But that doesn't also mean that I'm willing to lay a touchdown with the Gophers just yet. I need to look at this game a little bit further.
We're expecting a down year for Nebraska, rebuilding year. Matt Rule, I think he went 1-11 his first year in Waco.
Ooh.
Seems to come and tear things down and build them up. Scott Frost did not leave the cupboard bare. Scott Frost just apparently, from what I've been told, couldn't lay off the booze.
Whoa.
And
John Murray, those are some pretty harsh allegations.
That's
so
what
you're
I
saying
heard.
that Scott Frost does not participate in Sober September, such as myself.
That's what I heard. I don't know, but very disappointing tenure for Scott Frost in Lincoln. I don't think the cupboard's bare there, but I think Matt Rule is going to go with more of a tear it down and build it up approach with Nebraska. So don't expect a ton out of the Cornhuskers this year. Let's stay in the Big Ten.
Is the pen going to be your new pen this week? Like last week, I had to stop you from beating on the table. This week, you're going to just – okay.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Listen,
What
you
are
have
you
a
doing
great
down
job. I need you to be so happy. You're so miserable already, and it's only show
there?
number 2 of the new season.
West Virginia at Penn State. So here's the problem I have with this game. Your friend Steve Thurston,
Yes,
Chris Thurston's brother. So I
yes,
guess did he go to Penn State?
he did. He played hockey
So
there.
I didn't know that. Oh, that's cool. He's texting me saying he wants to bet a round of golf on the game. Penn State is a minus 1,700 favorite on the money line. Does Steve Thurston need to buy him a round of golf? I can do that. I could just buy him a round of golf.
I mean,
I can do it.
I think he's probably gonna spot you 21 points. Don't you think that would be fair?
What does a round of golf cost under your administration? Like $3,000?
I mean, if I were you, I would be not playing at Las Vegas Country Club like you always do. I would be probably betting like, I don't know, Cascada or something really fun.
Cascada's windy. Oh, I don't agree with that. Las Vegas Country Club is nicer than that. Cascada's really windy.
Not nice. I just said you play there all the time. Wouldn't you like to try someplace new? Maybe if Neil Brown can somehow squeeze you out of cover, you go check out a new place on somebody else's dime.
Jay and I have a reason why we play there a lot. And it's tied into.
It's because you literally live across the street. Like
no,
you're at the Westgate and you're right there. It's a very easy.
There's actually a much better reason than that.
Because you're members?
There's a financial reason involved.
Oh.
But West Virginia is a big underdog in that game. Very low energy coach Neil Brown. I don't like their chances at Penn State. And Penn State could be a sleeper team to make it to the college football playoff. I would
agree with that. So we did draft Penn State in our college football pool as well. We have Washington and Penn State, and New Mexico State is already dead in the water. And I'm already betting against Cal this week, which we'll get to in a little bit. So I basically donated a dime.
New Mexico State's already dead in the water. They're one game.
Yeah. They're going to win what, like 2 games now?
I told you on the show last week that we saw sharp money on UMass plus 7.5.
I know. I just needed them to win the game. I didn't need them to cover. It's not against the spread. It's a college football season win total. Like, yeah, that was just a terrible performance. Jerry Kell, dead to me.
Let's go to Sunday. The best game of the week in terms of handle, in terms of matchup, in terms of everything is going to be LSU Florida State on Sunday night. You got two quarterbacks that are Heisman hopefuls. You got tons of public money on the over. We already had one guy come in, lay $10,000 on the over in Nevada.
Ooh.
Everyone's on the over in that game. What's the name of the LSU quarterback again?
It is Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. What do you think of that game? Is that on your card? Is that on the Hottie Threesome?
So it's not on my card. I actually don't understand why all the love for FSU. I'm not a big Mike Norvell fan. I've seen him blow way too many games that he should have won and covered. A little revenge factor there, obviously, for LSU. Last year, it looked like it could have just been a complete and utter ass kicking. LSU comes back, and then they missed a PAT. So that was really probably frustrating for them. Brian Kelly, second year at LSU. We'll see what he can do. But another game that looks like it could just be an absolute score fest.
Brian Kelly is about as good as it gets as a college football coach. I'm amazed. His first year in LSU, he had them in the conference championship game last year. That really is remarkable when you consider how good the SEC West is. So LSU, small favorite in that game. And then let's go to
go back. So what did you guys see? Just two-way action, or what are you reporting here?
Good point. I'm sorry. Nothing sharp on the side. Nothing sharp, I'd say, on the total. Just so far, a lot of public money on the over. Expect that to carry into the weekend. I'm sure we'll need the under. I don't know what side we'll need. I would assume we'll probably need Florida State, but that could go either way. That could be dictated by maybe a big house player or just some parlay liability to one side or the other. Should be a good
something to really remember, though. And that's a lot of stuff that I get questions about you all the time. You guys are a casino as well, right? Some of these standalone sportsbooks don't have casinos. If you have a casino and a casino host walks up with a guy who's lost $1 million in the casino today, he can pretty much bet whatever he wants. And of course, that's going to change the handle.
Yeah, we certainly have some big house players with us here at the Westgate Superbook that have played with us for years. And they can come in and they can lay, not $1 million, obviously, but they can lay a significant wager on the game. And it can influence who we're rooting for. when you're talking about a game like this. I would approach this game as maybe the way you approach a NFL Monday night game. I think it'll be similar handle. I don't think it'd be the handle of an NFL Sunday night game, because think about those NFL Sunday night games. They've got all the parlay money coming in from the whole NFL. So there's so much right in those games. This isn't quite that level, but this could be comparable to a crappy Monday night game, which is still
okay. What about a crappy Thursday night game?
Thursday night games are different. We get more money on Thursday night, and I'll tell you why.
Because people aren't broke yet.
Well, yeah, that's true too. That's a sad way of looking at it. I don't like that.
Sorry, that's a mean way of looking at it. But it goes back to showing discipline and bankroll management. I feel like such like a loser having to repeat that over and over again, by the way.
You are a loser. No, I'm kidding. But parlays start on Thursday night, right? So the Chiefs game next Thursday, Monday night against Detroit, that'll start off a lot of money line parlays for NFL Week 1. So Thursday outrights Monday a lot of weeks. And I think that's noteworthy because the Thursday night games are usually dog shit.
This year there's some better ones. Detroit seems to be playing, I think, like 3 of them. I got to remember. My brain is so fried from Vegas. I have screwed up so many times on videos this week.
You've been home for like 4 days.
Yeah, and I've been preparing for a hurricane and trying to make sure that the French Bulldog over here snoring in the background of my video is alive. And, there's a lot of like really important things to do.
Where is Coco?
She's over here. She's snoring. She doesn't want to get up and see you. But she is going to make a Kelly Murray debut. That's the best part about being on video and being remote.
Yeah.
You can get excited.
Yeah, I love dogs. Okay. Monday night, Clemson at Duke. Sharp money on over 55. And I want to talk a little bit about Cade Klubnik, the quarterback for Clemson. So he's one of the most popular betting options for the Heisman Trophy. We've lowered him down to 14-1. We've got a decent amount of liability on him. It makes sense to me because Clemson's got a lot of talent on offense. They got the new offensive coordinator, Lincoln Riley's brother. And I always considered Klubnik to be better than DJ was last season. I'm not going to pretend I can pronounce his last name.
But you're not even going to try?
I'm not going to try. I don't do that. I just.
You don't like to stroke like I do all the time?
I just gloss right over that. No, I think it's a big upgrade at quarterback for Clemson. Clemson as a team really has a good chance to make it to the college football playoff this season. I think it's been a 2-year absence for Dabo Swinney, but they should be right back into the mix this year because they've upgraded significantly at quarterback. They've had some good recruiting classes. The ACC is not the SEC, right? So it really.
So here's the question. For him to win the Heisman, they basically have to go undefeated.
Oh, yeah.
And also make the college football playoff, essentially, right? By the time like voting and all that stuff comes around. I do have my concerns that maybe it's not going to be this year for Clemson. Maybe it's going to be next year. Maybe we're a little premature on them. But there's going to be some interesting coin flip games, most notably Florida State. They can beat Florida State. I think they might be able to run the table.
I think they got a good chance to make some noise this season. A little bit disappointing the last couple of years, but there was always going to be a drop-off after Trevor Lawrence went pro. They also lost their defensive coordinator, Brett Venables, who went to Oklahoma to be the head coach there. So I think they've solidified the coaching staff. They've had some good recruiting classes. They've upgraded at quarterback. Let's see if they can get back into that playoff mix. Now, what do I think would happen if they got through to the playoff and they played Georgia? Well, I don't think that they would do very well.
Okay, how big of an underdog would you make them to Georgia?
Well, we got to see. We got to see how. No, bigger than that. Georgia is so low.
You're over a touchdown underdog in the college football playoff.
Well, what happened when Georgia played Michigan in the semifinal 2 years ago, and it was right around there.
I took the over. Speaking of kicking is for losers, that was painful.
How did TCU do against Georgia in the title game? Of course, but I say all this, and Ohio State and C.J. Stroud probably should have beat Georgia, if not for the greatest kicking is for losers moment of all of last year's football season.
That was really bad.
Ryan Day saying, hey, guys, we're inside 50-yard field goal range. Let's play for the kick instead of just gaining another 25 yards before the field goal. Ryan Day, that was pathetic. That's all I have for week 1, so I'm going to turn it over to Kelly, go through the games you like, tell us about them, and then tell us what the hottie threesome is if we're still calling it that.
We're not still calling it that. Somebody in marketing at Superbook needs to pick a name for you guys Otherwise,
Well,
it's just
not,
a Kelly in Vegas parlay, I guess.
no, I don't like
So
that. I like Hottie threesome better than Kelly in Vegas parlay. You're not even in Las Vegas. You're in Florida. That doesn't make
you
any
stop
sense.
telling people where I live. I moved here to hide out, and you keep
It's a
telling people where I live.
state. I can't. Kelly's on the East Coast somewhere. All right, go ahead.
East Coast somewhere.
Give me your picks.
Okay, so I already bet Wyoming. I
Mhm.
do love Texas Tech this year. As I said, I bet their season win total over. And I know look ahead spots don't really happen in week 1, but I have Oregon already circled for next week. I actually got into it with a guy on Twitter, X, whatever it's called,
I'm sorry.
shockingly.
Let me stop you. You got into it with a person on Twitter.
Well, but this is what happens. Fans don't understand gambling all the time, right?
All right.
And I said, you guys are going to be like 4-point favorites. My buddy Ralph said 5. I said 3, 3.5. And the guy was like, don't act like they're on upset alert. I'm like, that's exactly what they are. Oregon is absolutely on upset alert next week. We'll see. Lubbock's not exactly an easy place to play, but I have a feeling going to Laramie is, our favorite boss, Kristen will appreciate this. Going to Laramie is not easy. The altitude is tough. I like Craig Bull. We're returning a bunch of guys on both sides of the ball. 14 points. I wouldn't be surprised to see this be kind of a square dog, honestly, but I already bet it yesterday. Was talking to a couple buddies of mine. I like it. 2 touchdowns. Tech wins by 10. Easy peasy. Next up.
I saw some sharp players on the under in that game.
Okay.
Which that could be good for Kelly being on the underdog.
I like
If
that. I'll write that
you
down
believe in
as
that
well.
sort of thing. Go on.
So there was a couple other teams that I considered for my parlay. Northwestern. I think that there's a definite overreaction to Fitzgerald losing his job. I'd like to think these guys are going to go play. And also, who the hell is Rutgers to be laying almost a touchdown to anyone? Seems a little steep. Last year, we know what Northwestern was able to do in Ireland. They spring the double-digit upset. Some of these kids are still going to want to play. I think this line is a little overblown. The reason why I didn't get to the window with it, I am not sure they can win the game outright, right? So here's the parlay as a reminder. And I think it's a mailbag question, so pardon me if I answer it too early.
Yeah, should we step over the mailbag like that? What you tell me. You're the
Okay, fine. We'll explain it in the mailbag.
Okay.
Another team that almost made my parlay, Northern Illinois.
Ooh, yeah, we saw some sharp players on Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois is at Boston College, right?
And I thought maybe they could go into Boston and win this game. I tried to make a real case for them. Boston College, another team, probably not so great as a favorite, only covered 5 of their last 20. So it's terrible. That as a favorite, that is terrible numbers as a favorite.
Yeah.
There becomes a shift with some of these teams, right? They're great for me as underdogs, and I'll get to it when I get into the parlay. And then they get shifted to the favorite role, and they don't know how to act. That same last year, Purdue. 2 years ago, Purdue, great underdog. Last year, all of a sudden, a favorite all the time, and did not work out well for them. So those are some teams that had a chance to make my parlay. I tried to make a case for Hawaii. I'm not even going to bet them. I thought they looked too good last week. Too good, in quotations, at Vanderbilt. So I think they're getting a lot of love. Plus Stanford. Same reason why I'm betting against another team in the Pac-4. What are we doing in Stanford, right? They
the Pac-4, yeah.
Program? It's the Pac-4 already. And let's see. I already mentioned Washington. I was waiting to see if we were going to get a 14. I don't think we're going to get one. Another team that I considered was Florida. And I don't think they can go into Rice Eccles Stadium and win the game outright. So I asked them. Plus, the line drops 2 points. So that's a little frustrating. And just kind of a stay away.
Well, Florida, so probably the most talked about game of week 1. I did leave it off the rundown because of the quarterback situation with Cam Rising. A lot of sharp guys got ahead of that on Florida, taking the 7 points. But we were game planning all offseason as if Cam Rising wasn't going to play in this game.
Okay.
So no surprises there.
Opened at some Vegas books at like 10. I would have loved to have gotten the opportunity there. So now at 4.5, it's just like one of those. It just sometimes you just got to let it go. You missed the number. Didn't get the best of the information. You got to let it go. It's called discipline, John Murray.
I don't like this new, more disciplined version of you.
Lose a lot of money. You can lose a lot of money gambling, and it'll teach you to be more disciplined. I feel like I'm like saying this till I'm blue in the face to people, and you still get these little degens out there betting 18-team parlays thinking they're going to hit a lottery ticket. Actually, I think you guys, bookmakers probably like those guys. Never mind. I won't badmouth them anymore. Another team that I looked at, can't do it, Georgia Tech. Oh, Georgia Tech. It's just been rough for them the last couple of years. So I ended up staying off them as well. So recap, parlay video will be out. We're getting close to the time, getting a little update from our producer in the chat box. So parlay, and I will have this video to you guys tomorrow, and hopefully you guys will have it up on the app. North Texas, Toledo, South Alabama. Should pay about 35-ish to 1. We'll see the odds John Murray gives us.
35 to 1?
Yeah, all of them are
yeah. So we'll
$2 dogs are better.
We'll go ahead and boost that.
No.
So we'll boost that for you. That's what you want. No? So no boost.
I just don't. I think it's bad juju. I've kind of decided. Like the Bear. You guys do the Bears bets, and I'm like, oh, you guys just jinxed them by boosting it. All the sports books do it. I feel like it's like a reverse jinx.
Bears had bad luck with that.
Because you guys boosted.
Well, I thought that's what the customers want.
Not me.
I don't know. No?
No.
Okay, not you. You want go to the mailbag.
I don't have the mailbag. I asked if you had the rundown.
What the fuck are you talking about? I don't have the mailbag. Oh, I have it right here.
Oh, I knew you did. See, why are you trying to throw me under the bus? It's only show number 2.
I'm sorry. I didn't know I had a second page of notes. All right. Well,
Coco just fell out of her dog bed. It's like the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that is cute. So this is from so can you still say this? @ChristyG3131 on Twitter. It's X though, right?
If you type in twitter.com, that still shows up. I mean, it is X, but is x.com? I've never tried to type it in.
Christy G X'd us. It says, well, can you please explain how to bet the Hottie threesome to the losers out there? This is a good one. Who will complain if a 75 to 1 parlay doesn't hit week 1? Thank you so much.
Hopefully we get a 75 to 1 parlay at some point in time this year. I cannot make promises. I just have to pick dogs I think can win outright. So here's how we're going to do it, guys. This is how we've done it since the inception. We're trying to find 3 dogs to win outright, right? But what's more importantly, they're going to cover the spread, right? So we need North Texas to cover 7.5. We need Toledo to cover the 9, and we need South Alabama to cover the 6.5. We're betting 3 units. Each one of those single bets. Single bets.
3 straight bets.
3 straight bets. Okay. Then I take a half unit and I sprinkle on every single one of the money lines. So we got North Texas, last I looked on the Superbook app, plus 210. Toledo, plus 245. South Alabama, 2 to 1. Okay. So we just do a little baby sprinkle, half unit, right? So if 3 units is on against the spread number, we got a half unit on the money line. And then I take another half unit and I say, you know what? We are going to put it in a 3-team parlay because it's fun. It's just something fun to root for. Last year we hit 2 out of 3 twice. That was painful. Hopefully this year we hit one. I've never hit one week 1. This is in a decade of doing this. So I've been doing this since 2013. I've never hit one week 1. So maybe you want to sit this one out. And then of course it will hit and you guys will all yell at me and it'll be great. So maybe all of you guys that are naysayers should sit this one out so that we can get the W. But that is what it is. I will put a video out on Twitter, not only explaining those 3 games, but also explaining how to bet it. Because I want everybody to go to Superbook, where John Murray is not going to boost it. And we're going to cash one of these this season. I feel good about the season. Lots of dogs going to be barking here. Week 2, week 3. Got some spots already circled in the look ahead.
It's a lot of prep work out of you. It was a long answer. That was long. I feel like that was a really long
I know. And now we're at 30 minutes. So we just got, there's the show.
I got to get rid of the other 3 mailbag questions. All right. How about @AC_Sports_4 on X? He said, hey, JM, what are your thoughts on Messi joining MLS? What effect has this had on the Superbook? Actually, it has. This is the first time I've ever seen us writing a lot of money on an MLS game. And I know that most of the Miami games, Inter Miami was playing in not the MLS. I think it was called the League Cup or the Nations League or some other whatever. I only follow English soccer. But
that's it. All the EPL. I get it. Okay.
We're writing a lot of money on Inter Miami games. They're popular. The betting public is betting them. It used to be MLS was only. Say that again?
I said it must be good for everybody then.
It is good. It used to be that MLS was only for people that don't have any opinion that just saw the screen moving and they would follow it and say that was what they liked. Now there's actually recreational betting on MLS, so it's good.
Okay, good.
At Big Rob on Twitter said, any look ahead spots that you have circled for this week? Texas Tech and North Carolina State are in very similar situations on the road as 2 touchdown favorites and hosting big-time opponents next week for their home opener, Kelly.
Yep. No, I am not going to be on NC State, but one that got pointed out to me today is Miami of Ohio catching 17.5 at Miami. Who plays? Texas A&M next week. Remember last year they got absolutely boat raced. That is not my pick. That comes from my good buddy Joe Ranieri. It is on my long list. I'm going to break down that game a little bit further because I don't really follow the MAC, so it's kind of tough. Even though I do have a MAC team in my parlay.
List? How long is your long list? Like really long, right? It's long.
16 games.
Still looking. That's long. At Vince in PGH on X. Heard Kelly in Vegas advocating on another program for getting a legit college football contest in Las Vegas. Can JM comment on the appetite and likelihood of this happening next year? I don't know. I don't see it happening. I mean, William Hill was running a college football contest the last few years that I got into because of the overlay. I did really bad in that thing. Thank you, William Hill, for saving me $1,000 by not running your contest this year. I appreciate that.
There you go.
I used to play in the Leroy's contest back in the day.
Leroy's.
I was a big fan of that contest because it was a little cheaper. Although, really, I mean, $1,000 isn't that much money.
You can't afford it? Since when? You're a big-time executive.
I don't know. Seriously, though, I don't really see it happening. I think it's all about...
You just don't have the need for it, the request? Because I would love to. I'm in all sorts of office football college pools, except for the ones I'm no longer invited back to. But
why are you no longer invited back? Tell us.
I won one in back-to-back years, and that did not go over very well. So I got a text that said, Cal, a lot of people said they wouldn't play if you played again. This is the problem with some of those, John. And this is,
you've never called me John. I've known you for like 10 years. This first time.
Okay, baby. I'm going to work on that, John. I think the problem is that like on certain websites like Office Football Pool, there's a lot of stale lines, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to play those, whereas a recreational bettor is not. So like if I log into Office Football Pool to put in my picks for week 1 college football and I have 7.5 with Florida, it's absolutely going to make my card.
Well,
and that would be some advice
for people that are going against you recognize what you're doing. And
I mean, it's not every game, but it's 1 or 2 games a week.
I know what you mean.
No, but I don't think that they realize that now.
Those were good mailbag questions, and I like the topic we're on right now.
You weren't going to answer Andrews?
What was Andrews? These are the 4 that were emailed.
Andrew asked if Richmond, north of Richmond, was written about you.
Who asked that?
My buddy Andrew submitted it. I knew our producer was just going to gloss over it, but he nailed it. I mean, that's totally you. You're from north of Richmond, and you're just a wealthy kid. I mean, that's why you got to go to Gonzaga High School.
And just a total douche. That is true, Andrew. Yes. No, I did not see that question. I'm only reading off my sheet here. I don't look at the mailbag. I like the topic we were on though, contests. Let's talk about contests. What contests are you in that you can talk about? And then do you want to talk at all about we're doing a Survivor entry together?
We are
talking about this.
So you're going to be my 7th Survivor entry. I apparently need to learn how to say no to people a lot more. It's a problem. I'm a yes woman, shockingly. So I am in 7 Survivors if you include the one with John Murray, Errol Epstein, Pam and I are in one. My buddy Ben and I are in one. CT and I are in one. Chad and I are in one. I'm in one with the Fade You guys. I'm sure I'm forgetting. There's a list around here somewhere. My buddy Steven and I are doing one. It's just too many. And me and all these people are going to hate each other. I hope you and I lose week 1. Then we don't have to talk about it anymore. But I'm excited. We're going to do it. That should give us some good content for the show. And it just means that you have to spend more time talking to me every week.
Let's talk about this. Me and my buddy from Gonzaga, we did one last year. We lost week 1, Bengals, Steelers. I don't want to lose week 1, but I do want to talk about this.
So let's not pick a divisional road favorite and maybe you won't lose.
Let's talk about, they missed a fucking extra point at the end of the game, and then they missed like a 20-yard field goal in overtime.
You're so mad.
I don't care. Actually, I was upset about it.
What a way to burn $1,000.
Now it's fun. At 500. Now it's funny.
Oh yes, because you split it.
one thing though, we tape the show Wednesdays. We're not going to make
Yes.
our pick on Wednesday. So
No.
I think we'll
Make
go.
your pick on Friday.
No, I just want to make sure people know that. We'll go through
Right,
our
but we
thought
should tweet it out from the show, or
Yeah.
maybe we just do an extra conference call and let a unit record it, and then it's good clippability.
I can do that. But
Is that a word? Clippability?
Of course it is not. But we will.
I mean, it might be clippable moments. Clippable was not a word until social media was invented.
I'm moving on to the next bullet point. I want Kelly to hype up the Super Contest and remind people to download the Superbook app. Go ahead, Kelly. Do it.
Yes. I actually already closed out this browser. I did get some inside information that possibly your home state will be the next Superbook location. Maryland came on board, so that's good news. And we'll see if we can't get the home state of John Murray next. But Superbook, 8 different states, but you got to go to Nevada to sign up for the Westgate Super Contest, sponsored by Superbook. Is that how we're gonna go? I don't know. I just totally botched that. That being said, I've got 2 entries. Pam and I have an entry for Stack of Stats. And then I was like, you know what? I got to do one by myself because sometimes it's just better that way. Like Pam and I enjoy doing it with her, but sometimes it's just better to pick your own 5 games, even though picking 5 games is very hard. Also, some guy tweeted at me this morning trying to tell me that picking 70% against the spread throughout an entire NFL season is not that hard with 5 games.
Oh, yeah. That's a piece of cake. No, I agree with you. I did a contest entry myself last season, and it's just better when you're not going back and forth with people. You can just do your own thing. I did pretty well. So my guess is you'll probably do better in that one because you're not overthinking it.
Well, it's weird because
the Super Contest is great because we've got the 11 in-season contests.
That's what I'm eyeballing, right? So I haven't won the mini contest since 2013. Got a nice 15 grand from good old Jay Cornegay. And then for a few years, I was not allowed to participate. If you catch my drift, I own a business that it was frowned upon.
Okay,
got it. So anyway, so I didn't. Now I'm back, and now I got 2 entries. So you guys can play against me every single week. Tell me my picks suck. But I'm coming for it, John Murray. I don't know if Superbook is actually going to write me a check if I do win. I probably should have asked them if I was allowed to participate before just signing up without. But too late. I'm already in it. I'm excited about it. And yeah, I mean, we're going to find out how much I hate the NFL by like week 6. That's usually about how it goes.
Yeah, good thing is in week 7, though, the Super Contest starts a new 3-week contest and a new 6-week contest. So you'll be over all fresh in week 7. Download our app, Colorado, New Jersey, Arizona, Tennessee, Iowa, Ohio, Maryland, coming soon to Virginia. And then, of course, it is here.
I also heard there was another state coming soon that I didn't realize even had legalized betting.
Well, then we definitely can't talk about it on the show. Now, can
Why? It's on the website. I just pulled it up.
It
says coming soon. There's 3 states that say coming soon. So if it's on the website, we can talk about it.
If it's on the website, go ahead. What is it?
Indiana. I did not know Indiana had legalized betting.
They have sports betting, yeah.
Okay. Had no idea. I'm an idiot. And then Louisiana.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there is nothing illegal about that. Yeah, but we're having conversations in other states that aren't legal yet. And you're a bit of a blabbermouth.
Have you got any inside information on which states might be? Maybe Florida? Have we heard anything about the Flagler group that's making my life a living hell?
Have I gotten any information? Yes. Can I share it with you? Of course not. And I think I'm going to have to wrap up the show right now. You got any closing words?
Nope, I got it. That's it. That's all I got.
I'll talk to you next week.